The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Trader's Edge with Steve Rhodes. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-873-7618. The Trader's Edge. Now, Steve Rhodes.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to the November 22nd, the terrific Tuesday edition of today's Trader's Edge Show. I'm your host, Stevie Perseverance Rhodes, who absolutely knows that each of us should always be pioneers of our future versus prisoners of our past. Hope everyone out there is having a great day. Hey, let's make sure we have an extraordinary one. And the easiest way to do that is to always remember that life is happening for us, not to us. That's right. When you and I make that one little 2x4 shift, well, it means we can find a gift in every set of circumstance that life is going to toss at us. Now, today, you and I, we're going to go check on the circumstance of these markets. We'll go figure out what those bulls and bears, what those buyers and sellers are communicating to you and I at just past 11 o'clock in the morning. I do want you to know I'm absolutely grateful for your presence here, but even more important than that, and that's this. During this next 53 minutes, I'm here to serve you. So feel free to pick up that phone. You can dial on it at 877-927-6648. Now, if you can't dial in, we've got you covered there, too. You can always let those fingers do the walking. That means send me an email. Send it to Steve at TFNN.com. Inside the subject heading, if you would be kind enough to put radio show question. Of course, if you're inside our Tigers Den, well, any and every ping will do. So let's go ahead and get this show started on terrific Tuesday. Of course, this is Tiger Financial News Network. I'm Steve Rhodes. Welcome to the show. Right now, you got a sea of green out there. Nearly everything is trading to the upside. U.S. dollar, except for the U.S. dollar index and the spot volatility. I did see Google just went 1 penny flat out there. But otherwise, you got the Dow up 281 points. The S&P's up 28. The NASDAQ 157. The Russell 10 points. That's 0.8, 0.7, 0.5%, and 0.5% to the upside. Semis are up 1.5%. That's 42 buckaroonies. Gold is up $2, 0.1%. Silver says, I don't know what you're doing, gold. I'm up 1%. That's 21 cents. Light sweet crude up $1.31. Natural gas up 15 pennies in the 30-year Treasury. Trading out at 126.08. That's up 25 ticks. Leading the charge. Dollar-wise to the upside, you've got Burlington Stores up nearly 15% or $23. Charter Communication, $14 and change, nearly 4%. BlackRock, $10, 1.5%. LPL Financial Holdings, nearly 5% or 10 buckaroonies. Allegiant Technologies, about $10. That's nearly 7% to the upside. The leaders to the downside, the shakers, that would be Mercado Libre, off $18, nearly 2%. Dollar Tree, $15, 9%. Jack in the Box, off $14, 16%. Dicon Industries, off $12, 11%. Celsius Holdings, down 7%. That's about $7 to the downside. So there's plenty of movers and there's plenty of shakers. Of course, I want to look at what you want to look at. Let's begin by, taking a look at the ES Mini out here. So let's get that up on our screen. We'll change panels. We'll go take a look at what's going on the multiple time frames out here. And basically, we're just, why don't I use the word basically a few more times? Basically, there we go. See, I will. We've just been trading, as you know, in a sideways move. It's been 2, 4, 6, 8 trading sessions. We've been moving sideways. Now, all I can share with you is prices consolidated with inside its daily profile. It's above its green oscillator and change line. It has an A to B equals CD to the upside. That A to B equals CD to the upside. If price can ever close above 40.19, should take us to 41.75. We look at the 5-hour time frame chart. 5-hour time frame chart has a Rhodes Momentum Indicator top, a wave number 7 top. That's led to a sideways move as well. Its areas of support, well, there's new profiles that have formed, so we won't really go there at this stage. If I look at a 4-hour time frame chart, no different signals here. Rhodes Momentum Indicator top, same on the 2-hour chart, sideways-ish move. 60-minute chart out there says what? Says you could get a TD9 count top. Could. That, if you were, you still have to spike above the high from the last trading hour. So that means you have to see a spike above, not a close above, but a spike above 38.90, 39.89.50, 39.89.50. Price must spike above that between now, 11 o'clock, and so this would be bar number 8. That would take us to 12, 9 to 1. So by 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock out there is what you would need in order to generate some type of TD9 count. Top EF price here also trading with inside its profile. That was a 60-minute time frame chart. 30-minute actually says it can form a TD9 count top anytime between now and noon. Bar number 9 is likely going to complete. We won't know that for 19 minutes out here, but it does look like it will likely complete. That'll give you the confirmed TD9 count top. At a prior TD9 count top out here, that was back at about 8:30 in the morning, back on November 18th. 4 days later out here, we could be topping at about the same area with a similar pattern out there. So that's what's going on a 30-minute time frame chart. Of course, we won't know for sure until 12. Well, I think we pretty much know. Look, 80%, 90% of TD9 count of successful 8 bar, when the bar number 8 makes the high of the pattern, there's a 90% chance that the pattern is actually going to go ahead and complete out there. So very good chance that we're going to get that. Now, where would price pull back to? That's a more important question. On a 30-minute time frame chart, the first level of support would be the top of its profile, 39.80. Below that would be 39.76.50, and below that would be 39.72. And below that, no, I don't have a level below that. Oh, I take that back. I do, 39.61. So the profile there is between 39.61 and 39.80. You would need to see it close below that green oscillator and change line, currently at 39.76, to suggest a move back to that level of support. Again, 39.61 out there. Nothing that sticks out on the 15-minute chart. 10-minute chart shows a small Rhodes momentum indicator top, but price above its profile as well as its green oscillator and change line. So its overall signal is neutral there. So what do we got? Basically, take a look at the daily time frame. We're in holiday trading. It's light volume. Not a whole lot to be made out of it. You basically have a consolidation with inside the daily profile. I don't see things getting out of hand here, either to the upside or to the downside. It does look like we have a choppy market, and I'd watch that 30-minute time frame chart. In fact, let's go switch over and take a look at all of the 30-minute time frame charts. Now, when I say all, I'm just referring to the equity future contracts out here. So let's pull those up, see if we've got any kind of uniformity out here, any kind of consensus. You take a look at the ES Mini, you can also see the A to B equals CD pattern. That it is, completed once, then it failed. It could complete again, but it's got that TD9 count up. On the NQ, well, that is not going to be an A to B equals CD because price took out that C point out there. So in the NQ, what do we have out here for a pattern? Not much. What I can share with you, though, is on any further rally, and price really should rally. It's above the top of its profile on a 30-minute basis, above its green oscillator and change line. It should set its sights on 11,682.50. The Dow equity future contract, very much like the ES, is going to form a TD9 count top. It'll complete that pattern by noon. That would suggest a pullback to support. The first level of support for it would be its oscillator and change line, and that's currently printed at 33,919. In the case of the Russell 2000, also I cannot put that A to B equals CD pattern in there because that did not come to fruition. So what do we have out here for the Russell 2000? And the answer is not much. So I can't say that's the 30-minute chart here that is driving the Russell, but it is, or appears to be, driving the ES and the Dow equity future contract. Steve Rhodes with TFNN. We come back, we're going to take a look at the 10-year note for Dan inside the Tigerson, and G-Man wants to look at Amazon. Of course, I'd love to hear from you. 877-927-6648 or Steve at TFNN.com.
Currencies, commodities, and bond markets are as important as ever right now with how they're driving the volatility in equity markets across the globe, which is why it's a great time to try out Teddy Kegstat's Tiger Forex Report. Teddy Kegstat breaks down the Forex markets every Monday using his 30-plus years of experience as a trading veteran of futures, Forex, stocks, and options. Teddy releases his weekly Tiger Forex Report every Monday morning with coverage of all the major currency pairs, including the dollar index, the euro dollar, pound dollar, dollar Swiss, dollar yen, as well as many more, and he also has weekly coverage of the crude oil market and the 30-year T-bonds, as they both influence Forex markets tremendously. When you sign up for the Tiger Forex Report, you also gain instant access to Teddy's 60-minute webinar archive he just hosted, Forex Strategies and Fundamentals, What is Behind the Tiger Forex Report. For all the details and to start your 30-day Tiger Forex Report subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
Welcome back, folks. So we're going to go take a look at the 10-year note out here. This is for Dan inside the Tiger's Den. Dan says the context of the trade, he's trading the 0.382 off the 1116 high. That 1116 high is going to take you right back here where it's got a Rhodes Momentum Indicator top. That was back on, as Dan said, November 16th out there. So, boy, Stevie, you're just really terrific there. So we've got that as the context. Looking for a short-term A to B equals CD to the downside, and he said maybe to the red oscillator and change line. He was referring to there the daily time frame. So real quickly here, the daily red oscillator and change line, you can see where that's at. Now that's going to change as price moves up and down. Of course, you don't have an A to B equals CD to the downside unless price closes below the potential B point. So right now, Dan, the B point that you'd have to use, or I would use out here, would be yesterday's high. And the C point could be yesterday's low. I hate using the same candle. It's not that you can't do it. It's just it's not the ideal situation, but that's what you'd have to use. And obviously, you've got to get price to close below 112.04. That would be, I'm assuming that's the B point that you're looking at. But the reason, after I read your note and why I went right to the 30-minute time frame chart, was because if you're going to see some kind of A to B equals CD to the downside, we're first going to see it here in the short-term time frame chart. So what we can see here most recently, when I say most recently, if we go back to was it yesterday, 2,300 hours, November 20th, a couple days ago, right at 11 o'clock in the evening, the 10-year note forms a TD9 count top. The interesting thing here, Dan, is that on the 30-minute, this is the 30-minute chart we're looking at, it leads all the way down to a TD9 count bottom. That took place at 5 o'clock in the morning. That was yesterday. What did that lead to? That led to a TD9 count top at 10 o'clock in the morning yesterday as well. What did that then lead to? A TD9 count bottom. That actually formed out there at 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon. Now, we don't have any TD9 counts as we speak right now. You're in bar number 4 potentially out here. But price has found resistance at the 112.19 area. So what I'm not seeing out here, we know where resistance is at. So it's really clear. 112.19. What I'm not seeing on a short-term time frame chart is any signal here of a down move, right? On the 30-minute chart, we've got at least a higher low out here. We don't have a higher high, but if price was able to take out the 112.19 area, then your next target is going to be that candle session from November 21st at 10 o'clock in the morning, and that high out there would be 112.23. If price did close above that, I'm not saying that it will. I'm saying if it did, that would signal to us a move higher. In order for an A to B equal CD to the downside to get started, you're going to need to see a close, at least on a 30-minute basis, below the bottom of its profile, 112 and change out there. So now just back to the regular charts, not the regular charts, the longer-term charts, daily, the weekly, and the monthly out here. So on the daily, the other thing to consider is price is above the top of its profile in its oscillator and change line. So not exactly short signals, but we do know that price did run into resistance at its TD9 count breakdown area. You got one bar above it, and then the very next bar was back below it. So we know that's a stiff resistance area. So that's about all that I have for you. Is there a different time frame, Dan, before I switch charts? Any time frame that maybe you use that I should switch to? I've tried to limit the time frames up here just because I've got so much that's running in the background. I nope, that was perfect. Okay, well, I'll take perfect out there. What I can share with you also is if you take a look at that weekly time frame chart. So what you do know about the 10-year note is it likes the TD9 counts. If you take a look at the weekly time frame chart, bottom with the TD9 count, as well as the Rhodes Momentum Indicator bottom out there. So that suggests that it wants to move higher and rates lower, but the proof will be in the pudding. So thanks for the request out there, Dan, and have a terrific Tuesday, and more importantly, a terrific Thanksgiving out there. Let's go take a look at Amazon for G-Men. AMZN is the ticker symbol. So let's get that fired up on our screen out here. Amazon right now is trading out at what? Come on, populate that screen, would you? Amazon is trading out at 92.87 as we speak, 92.86. So what do we know about it? So it also formed a TD9 count bottom. This is for G-Man. Made a nice move higher. The question is this just setting up the C point of an A to B equals CD to the upside? Now, this candle session where this had this nice sign of strength. Well, I don't know if it was a sign of strength. I think it was a sign of strength. Let's see. Volume on that candle session being November 10th out there, had volume of 173 million shares. When it made the bottom, 90 million shares. So that's definitely a sign of strength out there. Price pulling back yesterday, testing that gap area. With volume of 84 million shares so far today. You've done 26 million shares out there. So you're pulling back on light volume. So, G-Man, what are you looking to do here? Are you looking to enter a position? Because if you are, one option could be right about here right now because price is at a profile level and that red oscillator and change line. I was going to say if price was pushing lower with volume, I would say that would increase the odds that it's going to fill the gap. That would obviously be your second play out there. And that would be trying to buy in around the 89.48-ish level. And obviously, if you're going to wait for that, then you're going to want to make sure that price is moving into that area with less than 90 million shares. But we'll look at the short-term time frame chart, see if there's anything there to assist us. I don't see anything on the weekly or the monthly right now for us to, well, on the weekly, the issue you've got here is that red oscillator and change line. That is resistance, which is currently 100.70. But let's look at a 30-minute chart. See if that provides G-Man and myself with any kind of further information out here. So, and yeah, there's all kinds of further information. What there's not is, no, I see several A to B equals CD patterns out here to the downside. So G-Man, it certainly has completed that, and it completed that with this nice piercing candle that formed at 11:30 in the morning. That was yesterday. Now, what price has been unable to do here is because it close below this bullish structured profile, G-Man. And what I mean by that is the center of the box. The center is where both buyers and sellers reside. The bottom is where buyers are at. The top is where sellers are at. So in that center line, in proximity to the bottom of the top is closer to either of them. That's what provides us with that bullish or bearish texture. This has a bullish texture. However, that doesn't mean that price can't bust through them, which is in fact what took place out there. So if this is more than a counter trend move, my experience is the following, G-Man, is that price will close above 93.88. Otherwise, that becomes the resistance level for Amazon on a move out there. So depending on the style trader you are, if you'd like proof, then the proof would be waiting for Amazon to at least get above that level. Again, that level was 93.88. If you're an aggressive trader, then now is the time because you got price pulling back into an area where it broke out. Could be the C point, the retracement on that. Let me just check on my other screen out there, just making sure. It doesn't look to me visually like it's more than a 0.786 retracement, but let's just make sure out there. That would be the last piece that I would be looking at. It was a 0.73 retracement, so really kind of perfect out there. So you like confirmation? Then you know what to be watching. I would be watching that 30-minute time frame chart out there. The real confirmation for you, I would think, in Amazon would be if price can take out the TD9 count breakdown resistance level at 96.27. Again, what we're looking for there is the 30-minute time frame. So I hope that helps you out with regard to Amazon. Let me see, what did you write in here? You wrote, I like confirmation, but I do tier in, so could start with that now and add when or if you get the confirmation. You've got all the information that I can provide to you at this stage here from the daily, weekly, monthly, and 30-minute charts for Amazon. So best of luck to you, G-Man. Thanks for the request, and have a happy Tuesday as well as a happy Thanksgiving. We'll be right back.
If you want to take advantage of this sector, now is the time to subscribe to my Gold Report. The Gold Report is a comprehensive look at the metals sector as well as the markets that move gold, which is the currency and bond markets. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. Every Monday morning, I publish the Gold Report with coverage of gold, silver, bonds, the XAU, HUI, GDX, as well as more than 30 different mining equities. To see for yourself the types of profitable trades that are recommended within the Gold Report, sign up now by visiting TFNN.com. Don't miss out on the next great gold trade. Sign up today.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern. For free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
This segment is brought to you by Thinkorswim. For more information, just click the Thinkorswim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back, folks. Right now, we got the Dow trading up 276 points. S&P's 28, NASDAQ 161. Russell's up 8. That's 8 tenths, 7 tenths, 0.5% from a percentage standpoint move to the upside. Gold's up $2. Silver, 16 pennies. Right now, we're taking a look at Procter & Gamble. This is for John Z. And John writes in, Steve, I'm long Procter & Gamble, PG for many years. If you could bring up the longer-term charts, at what price would you buy more shares that would be held many years? What price would you sell long-term positions? Interesting. So long-term charts, we've got the monthly chart. So what Procter & Gamble did was it topped with a TD9 count top, did that the month of January 2022, and then 4 months later it confirmed a Rhodes Momentum Indicator top. That took price right back to its breakout level at 131.94. It did that in the month of June. And then in the month of September, not only did it go test that, it closed below it. Turns out that was a false breakdown. Why? Because the price got right back above it last month. Price is above last month's high. That's bullish. It's within inside its profile level. It looks to me like, John, that price is going to go target the top of that profile, 150.14. So that's the first message out there. The weekly time frame chart. I see a 3 drive to a bottom pattern, but the way that I like to get that confirmed is with a bullish reversal candle. And we never got that inside of Procter & Gamble on a weekly basis. Doesn't matter. You don't always get what you want. Here, we can see that price is traded above last week's high, above the top of its profile. That suggests a further move higher. This suggests that price over time on a weekly basis would want to target the 164.98 level. So right now, we've got about 150.14 and 164.98 as price target levels. The daily time frame out here, the daily time frame is where you would have used a pattern. I would think from a longer term standpoint, you'd be looking for a bottom on a daily time frame to add to that position. And what we got out here was you got that confirmation on October 13th of a Rhodes Momentum Indicator bottom. So that would have been the area. The next thing that we're looking for, so now I can clearly see the A to B equals CD pattern. That would look like this. A to B is right about right here where it's got that letter B. I'm just going to move this over just for the sake of time to the C point. And so you can see we're at about the 1-to-1 level. So here's what I would do. Now, there's no topping pattern or signal at this stage. And more likely than not, John, price is going to go target 150.13. That's its next TD9 count breakdown area. What I would wait for is I would at least wait for some type of retracement to take place on a daily time frame. So it hasn't completed the pattern. Price is likely going to move higher. And then you might get that pullback. What you'd be looking for, some type of topping signal as price approaches that 115.13 area. Now, when I say some type of signal, because you've got that A to B equals CD and it's already achieved the 1-to-1 area, what you'd be looking for is a bearish reversal candle. That would then confirm the sell the D point. And what I would say is my price target area would probably be a profile level, and we'll have to come back at that stage, John, to see if there's a new profile or the oscillator and change line. I can give you those levels right now, but they're quite frankly irrelevant. So let's not even waste our time with data that we don't need. I gave you too much data as it is. On a 30-minute chart out here for Procter & Gamble, what do we see just short term? We don't see anything that is negative, only positive, with price holding that green oscillator and change line. Tells you for the 30-minute time frame, it still has strong momentum to the upside. So overall, Procter & Gamble, I'd sum it up like this. Looks like it wants to head to higher price. You're looking to add to your long-term position. I would wait for some type of retracement, hopefully some type of pattern on a daily time frame on the next move to the downside. So I hope that helps you out. Thanks much for writing in, and let's definitely look at this as you keep an eye on it for Stevie's son out there. So John, thanks so much for writing in. Have a happy Thanksgiving and a terrific Tuesday. The next request, that is coming in from Rahul inside the Tiger's Den. Rahul wants to take a look at NVIDIA, and you just say, can we take a look at it? You want more than that. What's the information that you're looking for, Rahul? And I'll try to get it for you as we get these charts here to populate. So we're going to get up on our screen here momentarily, let's hope, is NVIDIA. Right now we can see that, excuse me, out there, that NVIDIA formed a nice TD9 count top that took price right back to its green oscillator and change line. That is held, and so that's really kind of your bullish signal. So you've got down to an area of support. I don't know what you're looking for. If you're looking to add to a position, then this morning was a time to consider doing that. We'll look at the 30-minute time frame chart as well. You're looking to the short side. So that short side, at least at this stage here, that piece of it is over. That piece of the pie is done. So right now, from a short side standpoint, you got that TD9 count top. The area to consider moving to the short side would be, because this is a bearish structured daily profile. The center line at 163.50 would be the first area, and the second area would be 166.74. Somewhere in that range would be the level where you would want to consider taking a short. What you're going to use as a guideline is you're going to look at that swing point from November 15th. That has volume of 54 million shares. Now, in the next couple of days out here, we've got really light trading volume out here. But you do want to see this moving into that. When I say moving into that, I'm talking 163.82 with less than 54 million shares. If it does that and you're moving into a bearish structured profile, then okay, you'd have your signal to consider taking a short. What I want you to pay attention to, though, Rahul, is if you look at the longer term charts out here, That's the monthly. You've got a confirmed TD9 count bottom. What's that usually signal to you and I? That price is going to go target its oscillator and change line. That's currently printed at 198.82. How about the weekly time frame? Turns out that formed a TD9 count bottom. Price is above its profile. What does it want to do? It wants to move up to 179.47. In other words, what the weekly and the monthly charts are saying is you need to be really careful to the downside, because instead, really what those charts are saying, what the daily chart is saying, at least at this stage here for NVIDIA, is look for a trade to the upside, not necessarily to the downside. Now, the weekly chart out there has got resistance at 179.47. Clearly an A to B equals C to the upside, but we don't have to worry about that because the TD9 count and wave number 7, that's letter G, that identified the top. But remember, when you get a top, all that's really required is to see what happens as price moves down and tests support. And at this stage, you and I are looking at it, showing that support has held. Now, on a 30-minute basis, on a very short-term time frame. So if you're looking for the longer-term short, I'm saying the weekly and the monthly are saying be careful about that. If you look at the 30-minute time frame chart, you can see this formed a Rhodes Momentum Indicator bottom. Did that yesterday. And price now with the trade above those profile levels, the 30-minute profile areas, should go target 160.02. If price clears 160.02, that tells you it wants to head even higher out there. So that's what I see when we take a look at NVIDIA. I'm assuming you're looking for a short as well when it comes to Microsoft. I don't want to make that assumption. Just give me a nod or something, and we'll pull up the charts for Microsoft, see what they are communicating to you and I. And Microsoft is trading right now 242 and change, 242.33 or so. It's consolidating with inside its daily profile. It's a bear structured daily profile. And if we take a look at a resistance level, it's at 244.53. Now, if price closes above that, you don't want to be on the short side for Microsoft. You want to be on the long side, because that would signal to us, you and I, that price should go target the 250.49 level. Now, in the case of Microsoft, formed a nice TD9 count, wave 7, and Rhodes Momentum Indicator bottom out there. 3 for 1. Does that mean it's a stronger bottom? No, it just means it's a bottom, and you had 3 patterns that formed all at the same time out there. If I look at a weekly chart out there, we can see that this had an A to B equals CD to the downside. 2 weeks ago, that completed that pattern with that bull sash. You've got price consolidating with inside that profile. That's between 228.79 and 248.12. If this closes above 248.12, it's headed to 260.49. Can I guarantee it? I can't. And on the monthly chart, we now will have a completed TD9 count bottom. This also suggests a little caution with regard to Microsoft to the downside. Steve Rhodes with TFNN. We'll be right back.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Technology around us is changing every day. With so much happening, it can seem impossible to keep up with all the information. David White's investment newsletter, The Technology Insider, is designed to give you all the information you need to understand the technology that shapes today's markets and tomorrow's future. David White has made his living staying on the cutting edge of technology. His weekly newsletter will give you specific recommendations for value tech stocks, as well as entry prices, target prices, and stops to set for each trade. Dave delivers his weekly newsletters every Friday with updates throughout the week. You can get the Technology Insider at TFNN.com for only $37.50. Sign up for David's newsletter, The Technology Insider, and get an inside look at everything the technology sector has to offer. Try it risk-free today with our 30-day money-back guarantee. TFNN, educating investors.
Are China A-shares hot or not? If you trade China A-shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A-share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A-shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction Shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
Welcome back, folks. You got the Dow trading up 272, S&P's up 27, NASDAQ 157, and the Russell's up 7 points as we speak. Let's go to our next question. Only question that we've got in the queue right now. And this is from Hector and Patty. They are our fuel injectors. Hector writes in, Happy Thanksgiving, turkey taco, tequila Tuesday. Now, that's quite a mix out there, but thank you. And same back at you. I think I'll skip the tequila today, but Thanksgiving, that could be a different story. He goes on to say, XLE, is this a valid baby A to B equals CD down pattern by the D point? Thanks, Hector and Patty. Geez, let me see here. Now, I'm doing this all off of my phone. Oh, I see what you're looking at. So, is that a daily time frame? I think that, okay, so Okay, so if I've got this straight, let me do this. We're going to switch charts because I can draw the A to B equals CD pattern easier on the black background chart. So I want to first very specifically answer your question, and then for you and everybody else, we'll go ahead and evaluate what's going on inside of the XLE. So the XLE, let's go to the daily time frame chart. It's a good question, and so I want to answer this. Why can't I maximize this? There we go. Now let's get rid of the A to B equals CD to the upside. Let's take a look at what you've drawn in. I believe is an A to B equals CD to the downside. So if I'm not mistaken, it looks like this. Your A point. So first, your A point that you're using is going to be the high from November 14th. And then what you're using for your B point is the low from the trading day of November 15th. Now, the very first thing, and then you're using for your C point, the high of this trading session here the very next day for as small as you say a baby A to B equals CD. And on a daily time frame chart, that would not be accurate. So here's what I want you to think of. The A point you're picking, the A point is correct. On the A to B equals CD, folks, no matter what time frame or chart you're looking at, you're picking out the highest high that you can identify, at least with regard to what's on our screen. So Hector did that. Now, what he also selected was the B point was the very next trading day. Well, it turns out that B point, that very next trading day, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the A to B equals CD. That low was above the low of that A point out there. So once you get to the B point has to form on a lower low. It has to be lower than most certainly the bar that you start on. And that bar would have to be then, well, what could it be? So the only potential so the answer is no. The second thing, though, that you chose, even if that was a possibility, you chose as the C point the high of November 16th. But inside the pattern, because you would have selected as the B point the low of November 15th, that next day didn't generate the highest high of that pattern. After the B point forms, it's where's the next high out there? And that would have been that same candle on November 15th out there. So what we'll do is we'll look at a short-term time frame chart. Might be easier, but the answer is no. That is not an A to B equals CD to the downside of baby one. Now, maybe you had something on a 30-minute chart or a 60-minute or something like that. So here's what we know right now with regard to the XLE. Formed a nice big old bullish hammer candle at the bottom of its bullish structured profile yesterday. So that's a beautiful thing. And price right now is traded above the top of its profile. And if XLE, that is, we're taking a look at XLE. If XLE closes above 92.36. That's telling us it wants to get back to its high. Well, all it needs to do to get back to its high is get into 92.85. The actual high today is 92.64. The volume on that swing point had volume of 23 million shares. You're at 10 million shares with about 2 hours of trading. That's some pretty good volume. So price is moving into a swing point with volume. So that suggests that it wants to at least go tag it. Now, let me come back to this chart. Let me go to a 30-minute time frame chart. Unfortunately, I think this is going to keep the daily profiles intact here because of the tool that I've got that's running. It's got the daily profiles in there. I could turn those off. So, an A to B equals CD to the downside, Hector, and anybody else who's watching and is listening. And by the way, I've got a workshop on this. If you'd like to learn the A to B equals CD pattern, I've got a workshop on it. Subscribe to Mastering Probability. You do it for 29 days. You can do it for 30 days. I'm just saying do it for 29 days. And then if you don't like the newsletter, you just jettison it and you move on. But you'll have gotten a great education. So the B point here that we would have to choose on this A to B equals CD on a 30-minute time frame would have been this low right here from 9:30 in the morning on November 17th. And then we'd have to choose the highest high that follows after that. And that would have been 15:30 hours on 11/17. And here what you can see is you had a 1, 2, 3, 4. You had a 5-river morning star candle formation. Yeah, it was a bullish engulfing candle as well. But so you got two different bullish patterns out there. That is what you're looking for in an A to B equals CD. So in summary, Hector, find the highest high. You did that. Then wherever you select as your B point, you then need to be able to select. You then need to be able to select the highest high that forms after that. And that becomes very clear, and that'll help you to complete the pattern. So Hector and Patty, I hope that helps you out. You have a terrific Taco Tuesday and a Thanksgiving Thursday, and somewhere in there a little bit of tequila. So hope that helps you out. I don't see anything else out here that we need to discuss or take a look at. And thanks so much for the request out there. Let's see here. So no other requests. Just checking here. So nothing inside the Tiger's Den. All right. So we've handled all requests. Of course, feel free to give me another one. I do that quickly by sending an email to steve@tfnn.com or calling me at 877-927-6648. You sent me one. Oh, thanks, S&P. Let me, I see it now. Boyle. Can you take a look at Boyle? Absolutely. So let's go take a look at Boyle. Of course, that's going to require, because I believe that is the natural gas triple ETF, double or triple ETF out there. So we'll want to take a look at natural gas too. But absolutely, we'll take a look at Boyle. We'll get that populated here momentarily. Of course, what you are looking for is you're looking for natural gas to confirm an A to B equals CD to the upside. In order to do that, what you're looking for, S&P, would be a close above $6.75 out there. And $6.75 for Boyle, that turns out to be its swing point out there. It's not $6.75. In the case of Boyle, what you're looking for is a close above $52.69 to give you an A to B equals C to the upside. Now, in the case of Boyle, the volume at that swing was 6 million shares. Today so far, what you've done is volume of 3.8. So you've got volume moving into that swing point. So that says that what we should see is an A to B equals CD pattern to the upside out there. I'll draw that in. We'll go take a look at my black background charts. I'll draw that in momentarily. Let's just switch over to the this multi-time frame set of charts out here to take a look at natural gas. We're looking at the January 2023 contract out here. This will take a few moments to populate, but because we're looking at Boyle, I want to be able to provide S&P with all the current information that we can out there. So this will take just a moment. You can see the daily time frame has populated. So that swing point that we're looking at again, which is a 3-river evening star, that is a resistance level. And if price can clear that resistance, again, that level is going to be $7.50. 750. Is that correct? Yeah, 7.501. The price closes button. You're at that right now. Then you're going to have an A to B equals CD. And I would also say that price would target wherever the A to B equals CD lands, probably about $8.61. We'll finish taking a look at natural gas when we get back from this break, as well as the A to B equals CD patterns inside of Boyle for S&P.
If you're looking for potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them, using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Everything in the universe is governed by the Fibonacci sequence. This mathematical principle is responsible for everything from the most aesthetically pleasing artwork to patterns in the stock market. To stay on top of stock patterns you can take advantage of, sign up for the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter at TFNN.com. When you subscribe, you'll get a weekly report from veteran day trader Larry Pesavento on stocks you need to pay attention to. And you can trust Larry's analysis. After all, he's got 45 years experience as a day trader. Larry will also provide daily charts, videos, and data on the key markets that he's tracking. Expect notifications from Larry on market movement you need to act on at any time. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. Subscribe to the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter today. TFNN.com, educating investors.
TFNN has launched the Tiger's Den, hosted at Discord. TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years, with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Folks, you got the Dow up 268, 0.8%. S&P's up 28, 0.7. Nasdaq 100 about 0.5% or 53 points. Russell's up 0.3. That's 6 points to the upside. Gold is up $2, silver 18 pennies. Light sweet crude up $1.87. She's trading at 81.91. We're taking a look at oil here. So whereas the natural gas contract has a clear A to B equals C to the upside, hard to really say that here. S&P on oil because the retracement, that B to C retracement was an 85% retracement. Anything above a 0.786 kind of disqualifies as an A to B equals CD pattern out there. Does that really create a problem for you? No. You still need to see price take out resistance. That's at that 5, well, in the case of oil, that resistance level is up at the 52.69 area out there. So I really think, like always, you knew that I would say this, S&P, you've got to really track this based upon what's going on inside of the natural gas contract. I didn't show that. It was an accident. I didn't show that on my screen. Last time I had the wrong screen up. And what it looks like is natural gas wants to go target this TD9 count breakdown level, 86.10. Today is only bar number 4 of a TD9 count. Notice if we go take a look at oil out here, it's in bar number 6 out there. So you don't want to be really, you want to take your feed, your information from what the actual underlying instrument, the natural gas contract, is doing. As I mentioned during the breakout there, the only short-term topping signal I see is a TD9 count on a 15-minute time frame chart. That pattern should confirm by noon, complete by 12:15. You could see a retracement inside of natural gas. The first target would be down around 734 or so out there, but otherwise everything looks pretty darn good. So that's pretty much going to end the show, folks. We've got just about 15 or 20 seconds. For those of you that are beginning your journey out there, I wish you safe travels. We will be hosting shows tomorrow, but then none on Thursday and Friday. And so if you are off, I want you to have a happy Thanksgiving and be grateful for everything that you do have in your life out there. In fact, if each of us just simply wrote down on a pad of paper all those things that we're grateful for, when we get the blues out there, you just pull that out. Maybe you look at your little notepad on your phone out there, and you'd be amazed how quickly you could smile. In fact, if you see somebody with tears, tell them to look straight up in the air. It's really hard to cry when you're looking to the upside. Folks, stay tuned. More great programming. Have a terrific Tuesday. I'll see you on Wonderful Wednesday.